Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Monday edition of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. We will do our best to get the most recruiting intel to you within the 20-minute mark. I am your host, Jeffrey Lee, your senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member of that site, you absolutely should be. Check us out right now. One free week, and then it's only 50% after that. $50 for an entire year. Absolutely get your money's worth. Keith, welcome in, big dog. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Absolutely. That deal is amazing. We're growing like crazy, trying to grow without growing with trolls. We're trying to prevent that the best we can, obviously, with so much going on right now. It's almost impossible, but we're doing our best. But we appreciate all the old subscribers, especially, and the new ones, and we're glad to be doing the show.
Absolutely, man. Before we get started diving into something, we've got some intel here. We've got some insight. We've got some stuff to talk about before we do. I want to let everybody know if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, we've got the man to call. His name is Caleb Schofield. Give him a call at 334-531-0966. He's there in LaGrange, Georgia at Mike Patton Auto off of Lafayette Parkway. He sells new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and even Hondas, and has a fantastic used car lot. Keith has already taken advantage of it. All his used cars have to pass a multi-point inspection before they even sell them. And they back all their used cars with a free 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty, and they do even more for the new vehicles. Free lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited mileage, big-time deal there. And if you're not in the market for a car and you know someone who is, Caleb pocket you $300, man, for a referral. Give him a call. LaGrange, Georgia, Mike Patton Auto, 334-531-0966. Big ups to Caleb.
Yeah, I should have referred myself. I could have gotten $300, or had you refer me.
There you go.
We're not that smart, but we should have tried.
There's a reason we're sitting in front of microphones.
That's right.
On a Monday morning. Keith, Auburn went to Georgia. Got beat 42-10. We went over that last night on the not the recruiting call-in show, the Auburn Live call-in show now. And if you haven't listened to that, go check it out. Also, if you're on our YouTube page right now, give us a subscription by clicking subscribe. Like it. Turn your notifications on. We had a lot of good questions and comments last night on the call-in show. We won't rehash all that. We're here more for the recruiting stuff. And last night you launched our recruiting War Room Plus. We got the War Rooms on Friday, but it just wasn't getting it done for earlier in the week. It's tough to wait all week to post some scoop when you're coming out of the weekend especially. So Keith had a great idea to start the War Room Plus on Monday mornings. He actually put it up 12:01, if I'm not mistaken, Keith. And
got some juice in it.
Had some juice.
We got to talk about it, man.
And, I posted this on the corner after you posted say what you want to about these guys and the uncertainty of their futures, but they're not giving up on the recruiting trail. As a matter of fact, they have added some commitments here lately and likely to add some more here soon. One guy to keep an eye on is Michigan State offensive lineman commitment Clay Wedin, who visited Auburn for the LSU game. Auburn has been pushing for him since, I guess, the spring. He came up for a multi-day visit back in the spring. And I think he came back in the summer and then committed to Michigan State, which Michigan State came down to the south and made some noise. They got Stanton Ramil from Thompson committed. They got Clay Wedin committed. A couple of Auburn targets committed along the offensive line. And in a class, Keith, where offensive line, and we saw it yesterday once again, or Saturday once again, how important the offensive line is in this class. Getting a guy like Clay Wedin on board, continuing to push for Ramil. I think Sean Tompkins you had an update on. Keyshawn Blackstock. Damn it, I always miss that.
Yeah, it's hard to get down. Jeffrey, Clay Wedin was going to officially, if my memory's right, was going to officially visit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because he committed to Michigan State. But Auburn kept chipping away. Behind the scenes, we kept telling people, hey, they're still going to work on guys. They're still going to try to flip a lot of guys because that's what people behind the scenes were telling us, right? And, you and I would kind of, come on, man, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, the persistence could be paying off, right? Clay Wedin's an interesting guy. Is at Carrollwood Day School in Tampa, a school in the northern part of the city. Big kid, very cerebral, high IQ guy, massive. Even though he's 6'6" in that range, he's probably a guard, right, Jeffrey? Isn't that what we're being told?
I think he could play right tackle too.
You do? Okay, so guard or right tackle. Is having
that's what I'm told. That's what I'm told. I don't know. I'm not Jay Head or Cole, but
having a strong season. But again, now he has not been up to Michigan State for a game. It's not. He already took his official visit there, so that means getting back up from here on out means he's got to pay his own way. Well, plane tickets are expensive to Detroit or Lansing or Flint or wherever you'd have to fly to up there. That's not a cheap trip to go with family members and things like that. But Auburn, that proximity to home, you haven't talked with them. You've talked with them. You've talked with him and his father, I think. That's significant. That's a 7-hour drive, 7-hour drive from where he's at. So he was able to get up there for the LSU game. You actually spent time with them, so I should defer to you. But in a nutshell, it's trending in the right direction for Auburn. We kind of got that feeling a few weeks ago. He was coming up, and he was not sure if he'd even make it to Michigan State this fall. Michigan State's not having a good season. He loves Auburn, loves the connection with the staff. He loves the community. Really, I think more than him with anything. People are going to say, Jeffrey, okay, what if something happens to the staff? I think with Clay Wedin, as long as the new staff, provided this all happens, again, we're all
right.
If there's a change, if there's a change, I think this is one of those kids that probably, again, provided both sides liked each other, the coaching staff and him. I think that's a kid that would probably stay with Auburn because he loves Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Loves the staff, don't get me wrong, but when he goes up there, he gets a different feel walking around campus and going in and out of that stadium.
He absolutely. It's all about Auburn with him, and he's just a natural fit for Auburn. He's your hunting guy. He loves to hunt. He loves to fish. He's got a good relationship with Garner Langlow, who
a good source for you for the next 4 years. Huh?
Hey, but you look at him, or when you get to know him, he's your cliche Auburn lineman. He is the country boy that loves to work out. He's a gym rat. He loves the atmosphere at Auburn. He loves the campus. It's his type of place.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a big guy too, Jeffrey.
He is huge.
What they've been missing, they haven't had as many of those massive guys the last few years, right?
Yeah, he looks 30. I mean, he is a big dude. And you're not, it's not like this guy, one of those lazy guys or anything who's just kind of going through the motions. No, man, he wants to be great. I tell you what, he's been talking a lot, or Darren Usher has been at the forefront of this recruitment here of late. So Auburn's definitely been pushing for him. Getting him back up for LSU was big. And, I was told that, he could absolutely, he's probably your prototypical guard. I don't know he's locked into that, though. I think he could also play some right tackle, or like I said, like I'm told.
Maybe he cross-trained like a lot of.
Yeah, there you go.
Who knows?
There you go. So I think that would be a huge, and he was a guy. I think Cole actually put in a pick for him back in February. Now that was before his his commitment to Michigan State, but it kind of goes back to you meet this kid and you go, this is an Auburn guy.
Yeah, it always felt like they were going to be in it toward the end. You know what I mean? And in fact, at Big Cat Weekend, Jeffrey, somebody at Auburn, I won't say who, because they're probably not. Well, no, they can talk about recruits. They can it can't be on the right. There's certain things they can't get.
Sure.
Somebody said, listen, if Auburn pushes, they're going to get that kid. They all, and this is back in July. So I think they always felt like they were going to have a really good shot, despite his commitment to Spartans.
And we've got to believe this is going to be a big offensive line class. We've been saying it for months now, or maybe even a year. You've got Braden Joyner committed, who is a center. You've got Janoris Wilson committed, who is a tackle, who's a tackle body at least. You get Clay Wedin on board. You're talking about Sean Tompkins. You're talking about Keyshawn Blackstock.
Stock, yes.
Yeah. You've got DJ Chester still in the wings. Stanton Ramil.
Yeah.
Also committed to Michigan State. I tell you what, man, these kids committed to Michigan State, they really should go up there maybe for a game in like November, especially these kids from the South. And
And they might love it. They need to know what they're getting.
They need to experience that. And Michigan State, to me, it's kind of it's similar. I've never been there, Keith. I'm just going. You probably have.
No, it's one of the. I've been to, I think, 43 states, and I've never been to Michigan.
Okay.
Always wanted to.
Well, it's Michigan, Michigan State, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Auburn's the Michigan State, right? Auburn's the Mississippi State. They're the little brother of the state. People like to think.
I'll let you say that.
It's more the agricultural school.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a land grant school.
Yeah. It's a county school, right? You've got the city schools, the pretty city schools, and you've got the county schools. Michigan State being like that. But I think it would be a good idea for these kids from the South to go up there. And again, they might love it, but they need to experience it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a great place. But again, proximity to home, comfort, being able to get home, being able to – your parents – I think what they learned this fall is that how expensive it is to get up there. So, your mom and dad, you're thinking, oh, gosh, I mean, 8 times a year?
Right.
Because they're not going to – you don't want to miss your kids' games if at all possible. I mean, look, it's not always ideal if you live in L.A. and your kid's playing at Florida State. You're not probably not going to – it's going to be tough, right? But if you can see them every week, what a joy it is. You know what I mean? Although when you're losing, you probably don't love hearing the things that are the insults hurled at your son, but that's life, right? But no, he's always fit in well. At Auburn, and obviously you had a great note today that look, you don't think his commitment is. There's a chance it's not going to last much longer in Michigan State, and if and when that happens, that he's likely to end up at Auburn. That was a fantastic way to start War Room Plus. A big note, and again, 4 or 5 offensive linemen you'd like out of the regular high school class, 2 or 3 junior college guys, and then you're going to have to hit them regardless of what you do in those 2 pots. That third pot's the portal, and you're going to need 2 or 3 guys, and that's fine. High school guys know, like Clay Wedin.
Yeah.
I'm sure Clay Wedin would love to be able to, if he ends up at Auburn, like we think there's a good chance. I'm sure he'd love to be able to go in and start next year, right? But offensive linemen are the most cerebral guys usually on the team. They know more than any other position. They're probably not going to be ready in year 1 unless they're just an absolute freakazoid, right?
Andre Smith.
Yes. And how many true freshmen has Auburn had? I've covered Auburn this is my 10th year. How many true freshman offensive linemen have started? I can't think of one, can I?
Oh, I got you. Lee Zimba and Ryan Pugh.
Since 2013, I don't think there's one. So,
I think Reese Dismukes was the last one.
Well, they know. These guys are smart guys. They know. So this kid especially is
Absolutely.
He knows that. So he's not going to mind that. A guy comes in the portal, starts for a season or 2. They can get me ready. And then when it's my turn, I will be ready. I won't be thrown out there to the wolves. I will be ready to go. Better competition at practice because these old guys can teach me some things. That's in some positions that hurts you when you recruit junior guys and portal guys. On the offensive line, it may help you, in fact, because those guys can then teach these younger guys how show them the ropes, so to speak.
Hey, and we talked about the 2 most important positions on this team is offensive lineman on offense and the edge position on defense. And over the past probably 2 weeks now, you've had the most buzz surrounding those 2. You've got the offensive line we've been talking about, the JUCOs. You mentioned Blackstock, Elijah Felipe, Isaiah Jada. Auburn continues to push for those guys. They're gonna load up in the transfer portal. And then the edge, you had Reuben Bain up for the LSU game. Of course, we talked about him last week. But, man, Auburn seems to be – and he's another guy who loves Auburn, right?
Yeah.
So you've got the 2 most important positions of need right now in this class. You've got a lot of buzz surrounding both of those positions with guys who love Auburn.
Yeah, and, a lot of those South Florida kids and Reuben Bain's from Miami Central, which is – not the little Haiti school is Miami Northwestern, but Miami Central is not far away. So kind of north Miami on I-95, north of the downtown center. And those kids, a lot of those kids, his teammates, his friends, a bunch of 7-on-7 players down there, they went up to Auburn for the LSU game and loved it. And in fact, the 7-on-7 coach that traveled with some of those guys said they'd never seen anything like it. So that atmosphere, that energy, you can do your part as a fan. It does make a difference. Regardless, that transcends coaching classes, coaching situations. Or you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
if one coaching staff leaves, another one comes in, but the kids still had a great experience at Auburn. The fans, the town, the atmosphere outside the stadium for Tiger Walk, inside the stadium, before the game, after the game, during the game. So all that stuff matters. And Ruben Bain is loving it. He's loving Auburn. Now, to be sure, there's some competition. There's no question about that. Alabama, maybe Miami. Just the hang up with his former coach being now being on the staff at Miami. The NCAA could potentially rule that that's not an issue anymore, but for now it does seem to be. Anyway, great player, having a big season, 8.5 sacks through his first 3 games. I'm not sure what he did the other night yet, but and then also let's not forget Quay Russaw.
Yeah,
another edge, and we I know, Jeffrey, you and I talk on the phone and we say, man, we've seen this movie before. Bama comes in, Auburn feels good, Tide swoops in, gets the guy. But we've been told by more than one person that this kid really likes Auburn. He just something about Auburn. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. You got the NFL sitting out there. That's going to be obviously a factor here. But you got to figure with a guy like him and his teammate James Smith, both 5 stars, and Smith's a tackle, defensive tackle, and Russaw's an edge. You got to figure that the NIL opportunities will probably be great from whoever's recruiting him. So then it reverts back to development, atmosphere, relationships, all that stuff. Am I going to play early? That matters maybe more than it would an offensive lineman. All those things. But Auburn's hanging in there, man, hanging in there. And now there's reports from On3, Sam Spiegelman. I think maybe Chad Simmons might have as well. I'm not quite sure, but that there may be a third team now instead of Georgia. That Georgia may be out of that one, and Florida may be in, and they're going to officially visit Florida, I want to say, this week for the Olympic game. So they will be able to match up that environment with the 2 in the state of Alabama. But makes me think it's coming down to one of 2 now, Alabama and Auburn, and less Georgia. So they got a fighting chance, right? And Rock Bellantoni is huge there. But also, let's not forget, Zach Etheridge is the primary for the Montgomery kids. And he's in really tight with the folks at Madhouse Training, the training facility where a lot of these young guys in that region go to work out, be mentored, and all that stuff. And that goes back a long time. He's been talking to those guys for years and years and years, and has built a real relationship with them. So they trust him, and then they can tell their guys, this is somebody we trust. They hear it and they see it, and that matters. That matters too, because again, you got to figure the NIL situations, Jeffrey, are going to be comparable at all the big schools that are recruiting these guys. So then, what could it come down to? Where do I feel comfortable? What do I love? What place just hits me in the face that this is where I got to be? So
you got to think Auburn's legit. They've been to 3 games already that we know of. Yeah. I'm sure we would know if they were at more. But the relationships there, the priority there, the NIL offer for both of these guys. I think that's why I'm loving the NIL stuff. It almost levels the playing field, right?
Yeah, it should. And again, if it does, then it truly, a lot of schools make excuses. Well, we're not getting guys because of the NIL. But if you're doing it right and it levels the playing field, then again, like I always say, then it reverts back to what it always has been: relationships. Can I win? Am I going to win? They want to win. These guys still want to win. Who's going to get me to the NFL is number one.
Right.
Then probably relationships. I know what people want to say, it's relationships number one, but if you can convince somebody you're the guy that's going to get them to the NFL, and that's going to be number one. Then relationships, then all the other stuff. So
if it was relationships, I feel like Grayson Pup Howard would be committed to Auburn. Probably Lewis Carter might be committed to Auburn because Christian Robinson's such a great relationship builder. So it's not all about relationships. Most importantly, when it comes down to it, who's going to get me to the NFL? NIL's nice money, but retirement money is what they're looking for.
Yeah, because we've covered, and then winning big, obviously.
Winning, yeah.
All things are equal. Do you want to play? Well, I don't want to trash any bowl games, but do you want to play in the Bermuda Bowl or do you want to play in the Rose Bowl? That kind of thing. And obviously, people have always said, Auburn's great at finishing number 2. Well, they finished number 2 in the last 10 years on a lot of guys because of those relationships, but it might have been those other things that kind of made them fall just a tad short.
Hey, good stuff, Keith. We will Continue pumping out content this week. If you're not a member to Auburn Live on 3, go give us a try, man. And 1 week free, then just 50% off after that. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. We will be cranking out content all week. Keith and I will be back Wednesday. We'll have the modcast on Thursday. We'll have another show on Friday. And we'll be tracking this Auburn team as they travel to Ole Miss. Justin Hoganson with the team coverage there for us. We appreciate everybody listening. Thanks again. For Zach in the back, for Keith, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Y'all stay out of the left lane, please. See ya.